While we were touring the penthouse, the sales agent's eyes curved into crescents. "The bedroom gets amazing natural light," she said brightly. "Nolan will love it." I froze. I had never mentioned my fiancé's name. Her smile faltered, replaced by the polished professionalism she wore like armor. She waved me toward the next room. "Miss Sutton, the dining area is this way." Just then, my phone buzzed. I glanced at the screen and answered on speaker. "Claire, where are you?" The rich, magnetic voice sent a shiver down my spine. The agent, Hannah, tense beside me. I gave Nolan the address, then turned back to the reception hall. After a brief pause, Hannah followed, hesitant. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows, a man moved with a calm authority, heading straight for me. His hand took mine, firm and familiar. I smiled, concealing the flutter in my chest. "I thought you were in a meeting. What are you doing here?" Nolan raised an eyebrow, leaning close enough that the tip of his nose brushed my cheek, his glasses catching the light. "I missed you," he murmured. That side of him, the tender side no one else ever saw, always caught me off guard. For a moment, my paranoia faded. Maybe the agent had just seen a photo of us somewhere. As we headed back toward the penthouse, I noticed Hannah wasn't following. I glanced over my shoulder. Tears shimmered in her eyes, held back but visible. "Do you two know each other?" I asked, letting go of Nolan's hand, my gaze shifting between them. The hall suddenly felt crowded with tension as other employees stared. Hannah's face paled. She looked at Nolan silently, as if pleading. We were college classmates." Nolan cut in, his expression unreadable as he glanced at her. Her body froze, words trapped behind trembling lips. "Are we going to see the apartment or not?" Nolan's tone sharpened, a subtle edge cutting through the tension. The sales manager rushed over, apologizing and trying to smooth things over. Another agent gently guided Hannah aside, leaving her alone and vulnerable. I tightened my grip on my Hermes bag as I approached her. "You messed up your job and no one's punishing you. Why are you so upset?" Her voice was barely audible, quivering with emotion. "Miss Sutton, I'm so sorry." "Enough." The roar behind me belonged to Nolan. He tore into the sales manager, his usual composure gone, scolding the staff for their mistakes. The mood was shattered. The penthouse no longer held any appeal. Back in the car, Nolan buckled my seatbelt. Seeing the storm on my face, he softened his tone. "We can look at another place tomorrow, okay?" I met his gaze. "That enough, you shouted," I said calmly. "That was for me." His hand paused mid-action, a small smile tugging at his lips. "Why would you think that?" "Claire, when have I ever yelled at you?" Intuition pricked at me. I knew it was meant to stop me from confronting Hannah. "What exactly is your relationship with her?" I asked, narrowing my eyes. "College classmates," he said wearily. "That's it. Don't doubt me." I stared, unrelenting. "You know I hate lies." He handed me his phone. The passcode was my birthday, a silent assurance, no secrets, just like he promised. Embarrassment washed over me. I had sought out that agent, even felt sorry for her, and now it made me look foolish. After all, everyone knew I was Nolan's first and only love, the one he had ever publicly acknowledged. I looked away, lips stubborn. "Let's find another place. I don't like this one anymore." He took my hand, a mix of patience and indulgence in his voice. "All right, whatever you want." A week later, I found myself driving past the same sales center. On a whim, I went inside. Hannah was gone. A familiar agent greeted me. "Hannah doesn't work here anymore. I can help you from now on. I know these properties even better than she did." A strange, sinking feeling gripped me. Acting on instinct, I drove to Nolan's company. The receptionist's face lit up. "Miss Sutton, here to see Mr. Pierce?" Her hand hovered over the phone, panic flickering in her eyes. "You've never spoken to me before," I said coolly. She withdrew her hand, stammering. "Oh, Come with me," I snapped. The elevator chimed, opening onto his executive floor. I made a beeline for Nolan's private office. "Miss Sutton," the receptionist called, her voice tense, but I ignored her. Click. The door swung open from the inside. Nolan stood there, smiling. "Claire." What a surprise. I strode into his office, brushing past him. The room was immaculate, desk organized, sofa perfectly aligned. Everything looked normal. I sank into his chair. "Since when does my arrival cause such a stir?" I asked lightly, though my heart raced. Nolan's brow furrowed. What are you talking about? He moved to dial HR. Before he could connect, I yanked open the tall wardrobe in the corner. A startled cry echoed as a woman tumbled out, caught off guard by my sudden action. Nolan froze, powerless to stop me. Her face was pale, fear written across it. I caught the name on her badge. Hannah Nash, Sales Department. Silence fell. For a long moment, no one spoke. Finally, Nolan broke it. She's a college classmate, he said, voice tight. We ran into each other here at the company, just catching up. She hid because she didn't want you to misunderstand. Claire. Hannah's hair was tousled, her clothes neat. She bit her lip, avoiding my gaze. That's right, Miss Sutton, she murmured. I passed the interview, and after what happened at the sales center, I couldn't stay there. I held her stare. Explain. What exactly did I do at the sales center that was so terrible? She was speechless, tears forming in her eyes. Claire. Nolan's voice, tight with frustration, came from behind me. Don't scare her. This is my fault. He gave Hannah a look, and she immediately lowered her head and scurried out. We were alone. He rubbed his temples. With your reputation, you made her uncomfortable. Of course, she couldn't stay in her old job. A cold laugh escaped me. You're certainly quick to see things from her side. Nolan froze. In a heartbeat, he knelt before me, taking my hands. Claire, I know you're upset, but don't say things you don't mean. Don't hurt me like this. I haven't done anything wrong. I only had her hide, because I didn't want to upset you. We're just old classmates. Nothing more. I remained silent. He sighed, swallowing hard. I can have HR fire her if you want, but Claire, her mother is sick. I stiffened. Are you telling me that if she gets worse, it's my fault? He flinched. That's harsh. I stood, but he grabbed my arm. Claire, don't overthink. That's not what I meant. I couldn't hold back any longer. You brought her into your office. You had the receptionist warn you when I arrived. You're using her sob story to guilt me. A realization hit me. If it was just a coincidence that she's here, why the heads up from the receptionist? Were you preparing to cheat? Nolan looked stunned, then nearly laughed. What are you thinking? Claire, how could I? I pressed on. She even knew you like sunlit rooms in the morning. Nolan, what's really going on between you two? The air felt thick, suffocating. I pulled away. Fine. Answer when you're ready to tell the truth. I swung the door open. Hannah stood outside, startled. She awkwardly offered a coffee. Miss Sutton, I thought you might be thirsty. I noticed the lipstick smudge on the cup. A used cup? Are you trying to send a message? She froze, eyes reddened again. Claire. Nolan's exasperated voice cut in, glaring at Hannah. Who told you to do anything besides your assigned work? Back to your desk. Flustered, Hannah nearly dropped the cup. Yes, Mr. Pierce, she stammered before scurrying off. Nolan's brow furrowed. If you want to ruin her career, Claire, I can call HR right now. You don't need to get worked up every time. Regret surged. I should have tossed the coffee in her face. Even in the car, I couldn't calm down. Nolan's coldness was usually reserved for strangers, but this, it felt like an attack. And I was supposed to believe their relationship was innocent? A notification pinged from the tablet on the back seat. I remembered he had once logged into his messenger there. I opened the message. The contact was just a username. Puppy's tears. I'm sorry. I caused trouble again. Yeah. Can I still work here? Yes. I haven't told anyone about our past. Not then, not now. Can we love again? Nolan, I miss you. The screen went dark with a log-out notification. My reflection mirrored the storm on my face. Then Nolan called, his warm voice a jarring contrast. Claire, where are you? Just watching, I said, icy calm. A man and a puppy having an affair. His voice caught. After a pause, he tried to deflect. Don't jump to conclusions. Where are you? I'll come find you. He arrived at my door with flowers, insisting nothing was happening. Hannah had merely gotten a job at his company. He was only helping an old classmate. I said nothing, leaving the screenshot of Can We Love Again? Glowing on the coffee table. His words faltered. She had a crush on me in college, but I never felt the same. I didn't tell you to spare her embarrassment. I just gave her the cold shoulder. Claire, can't you trust me? I looked at him. No. We stood in silence, a tense standoff. Finally, he turned off my phone screen. I'll fire her. Is that what you want? Let's not ruin us over someone who doesn't matter. Pretending compromise only fueled my anger. It's not her, it's you, I said. You still haven't explained what she meant by loving again. Did you ever love her? Was it a fling or an affair? Nolan was caught off guard. Normally, I would soften, but my direct questions left him cornered. I took a deep breath. Just go. After he left, I sat alone, finally calling my parents. Wedding preparations would be on hold. Was she part of his past before or during you? My father asked. It wasn't the past I minded, it was the lies. He had lied about this moment, about their interaction at the sales center. My father was silent for a beat. Your mother and I will support whatever you decide. Nolan was nothing if not efficient. 3 days later, I learned that Hannah had failed her probation and was no longer with his company. Yet no one could trace her anywhere in the city. Someone was hiding her, protecting her. The conclusion was unavoidable. It was time for a serious conversation with Nolan. I drove to his office building. In the underground garage, I spotted his car. As I approached, I overheard a woman's voice from the open window. I've missed you so much, Nolan. Even after all these years, you're still the only one. I can't be with anyone else. A flick of a lighter. His calm, measured voice cut through. You shouldn't have come when I'm about to get married. What if I had waited? Nolan, could we have? He didn't answer. She began to cry. I never expected to run into Claire, she said. I just wanted to see you from a distance. We were each other's first, but I found out about your engagement from someone else. It's not fair. I've missed you every night. Don't you ever think of me? His hand hung out the window, a thin curl of smoke drifting from his cigarette. We agreed to end things after graduation, Hannah. You're asking too much. I never wanted to replace anyone. I just want to be near you. Even if I can't be your girlfriend, we could be like college. When you need someone, you could call me. He remained silent. She leaned into him. The apartment you found is so secluded. I don't believe you haven't thought the same thing. Suddenly, a deafening crash echoed through the garage. The black sedan's rear was mangled. Nolan scrambled out, stunned. I rolled down my window, voice calm. Sorry about that. My driving isn't perfect. Didn't mean to interrupt you two lovebirds. Shock hardened into panic behind his glasses. I threw my car into reverse, tires squealing. I slammed the door, heels clicking across the concrete. Hannah stayed inside, huddled. Not coming out? Missed him so much you fainted. Claire. Nolan lunged for my arm. It's not what you think. I shook him off, fury boiling over, and slapped him. The sharp crack echoed. Hannah gasped. Don't hit him. She stumbled from the car. Miss Sutton, it's all my fault, don't blame him. Nolan shot her a hard look, jaw tight, then turned to me. You hit me. Fine. But even a criminal gets a trial with evidence. Can you stop imagining I'm cheating? His lips were pressed thin, patience frayed. I have not been unfaithful. Hannah's tears fell freely. Miss Sutton, you've misunderstood. We're not like that. I stepped toward her slowly. And what relationship do you imagine we're talking about? She froze. Nolan and I continued, measured, sharp. I hear your mother is sick. Did she get ill worrying about you and your shameless antics? Claire. Nolan's voice was ice. Enough. I turned away. If my words offend, Mr. Pierce, I'll stop. I retrieved the USB from my dashcam. My insurance company will contact you, I said. He followed. What are you doing? Nothing happened. People will think you're hysterical. Claire, don't be ridiculous. I met his gaze. So, you still think you've done nothing wrong, correct? I can guarantee you, up to this moment, I've been completely faithful in body and spirit, he said. The day ended sour. Word of my halted wedding spread quickly. Friends called, trying to mediate. Whatever Nolan had with her is over. You're the only woman he's ever publicly claimed. Everyone has a past, don't punish him for a ghost from college. He loves you. How much did he love me? Loved me enough to secretly find an apartment for another woman before we were even married, enough to hide her. I laughed softly. If hiding a mistress is his idea of love, I'll be returning it soon enough. My friend went silent. Then, Nolan's cold voice came through. Claire, don't do anything reckless. I hung up, created a group chat with all our mutual friends, and uploaded the dashcam video. Audio enhanced, every word clear. Asterisk, Nolan, you're the only man for me. I can't be with anyone else. Asterisk, we were each other's first, it's so unfair. Asterisk, I've missed you all these years. Don't you ever think of me? When you need someone, call me. The apartment you found. I don't believe you haven't thought the same thing. The group chat went silent. A private message popped up. Holy crap, so she was your first Nolan? No wonder you two were close. Before I could react, he retracted it. Another followed. Sorry, wrong chat. Game invite. I replied with a simple smile emoji, then left the chat. 2 minutes later, his call came panicked. Claire, what are you doing? Being hysterical, naturally, I said. I never suffered in silence. Thank God. If I'd married him, I'd be looking at a messy divorce. Yet Nolan still made foolish moves. While I stayed at my parents' house, he appeared with gifts, acting humble, apologetic, addressing my father earnestly. Claire is the only woman I've ever wanted. My past, it's behind me. My father ignored him, gaze fixed on the distance, cigarette in hand. I stood, showing Nolan a video on my phone. 2 figures tangled together, no sound needed. The rhythm was unmistakable. You tell me you love me while doing this, I said. How do you separate words from actions? Nolan shot up, staring at my phone. I locked the screen. Surprised? Your ex-fiancé happened to invest in that suburban apartment complex. I glanced at my father. We should get rid of that sofa. Don't want anyone else witnessing it. Nolan froze. Claire, I can explain. My father stubbed out his cigarette. Nolan, leave. The door closed. Through the gap, I saw panic in his reddened eyes. I blocked him everywhere. Yet, one night, he appeared outside my new apartment, damp from dew. Can we talk? Just 5 minutes. I watched him silently. That night, I was drunk, a fool. I thought she was you, he admitted. A cold wind whipped past. I studied the man behind the glasses. Nolan, I know how much you can drink. Even blackout drunk. Why not call a car? Why end up at her place? College hookup, mister, so much you forgot your fiancé. His color drained. It's not like that. I really am sorry, Claire. I didn't tell you because I knew you'd be angry and we were about to get married. He reached for my hand. I stepped back. Once something is dirty, it stays dirty forever. Your excuses are worse than your actions. In sharp contrast to Nolan's disheveled, frazzled state, Hannah arrived composed, every gesture precise and measured. Sunlight glinted off a delicate new ring on her finger, a design released only days ago, no guessing needed on who might have gifted it. She wasted no time. Miss Sutton, I know you despise me, she said, a hint of pride in her smile. You've always had everything. Someone like me, we live for scraps. Once you've loved a lion, you can't settle for the dogs around you. Even catching his shadow, feeling his pity, that kept me going. If you hadn't shown up at the sales center, I never would have thought to step into your place. I just wanted somewhere close, somewhere I could see him. Her voice faded. I laughed softly, tracing the rim of my coffee cup. So, I'm responsible for this, am I? She gave a small, knowing smile. Ms. Sutton, you personally, Before she could finish, I flung my coffee at her. The dark liquid drenched her white dress, dripping down her chin. Her cry filled the cafe as she fumbled for a napkin, eyes instantly red. At that exact moment, Nolan entered. Perfect timing. A barista had just placed a hot latte on the counter. I grabbed it and flicked my wrist. Splash. Hot liquid spattered across Hannah as she shrieked, tears mixing with coffee stains. I set the empty cup down calmly. Nolan saw this with his own eyes. A mocking smile tugged at my lips. Now, what are the chances he'll risk a finger to protect you? Hannah stared at Nolan, hope flickering in her tear-streaked face. He pressed his lips into a thin line. Do you really have to be like this? I almost laughed, but I had no time for him. Picking up my purse, I passed Hannah. Pathetic, I murmured. I hadn't paid for the coffees. At the counter, I gestured at Nolan. Let the lion dog take care of it. I cut off every possible line Nolan could use to reach me. Mutual friends who acted as his go-betweens were quietly removed from my life. When my father asked about a project in France that needed oversight, I didn't hesitate. I'll go. The airport was a blur. I moved efficiently, checking in without a second thought. A final text from an unknown number appeared. Give me a chance. Don't go. I deleted it without hesitation, removed my SIM, and tossed it aside. Life in France quickly absorbed me. I managed the branch office, learning everything from the ground up, the language, the business, the culture. Occasionally, I'd look out over unfamiliar streets and feel a moment of disorientation, but tasks always pulled me back in. It was a welcome distraction. Toxic people and old memories had no place here. Friends from home occasionally mentioned Nolan. They said he withdrew at first, then became an even more ruthless work machine. One friend ventured carefully, "He doesn't seem to be dating anyone, not even casually." I swirled my wine, expression neutral. "Is that so?" My heart felt perfectly still. I barely recalled his face, only the glint of his gold-rimmed glasses and the way his lips pressed into a line. He was irrelevant. I never expected to run into him in Paris. He sat among industry representatives from home, his gaze cutting across the room like a knife. I continued my conversation, smiling politely, but not meeting his eyes. He came to me, stopping close.
"Claire."
"It's been a long time." His voice was low, rough. I nodded slightly. "Mr. Pierce." The formal address seemed to sting him. He studied me for a few moments, emotions churning in silence, then forced a bitter smile. How have you been?" "Very well, thank you," I replied politely. He hesitated, seemingly lost for words. "And you?" I asked, keeping the conversation civil. He flinched, a flash of longing crossing his face. "Not good, Claire. I'm not well. I sent her away, hoping you'd notice someday." I nodded without interest. "Not good, you say? I'm glad to hear it." His face froze, mouth opening, but no sound coming out. I turned and rejoined my partners, letting the persistent stare fade into nothing. After the summit, he attempted his usual moves. Flowers appeared at my office. I had my assistant distribute them among the staff. He waited outside my apartment, holding a pastry bag from a renowned patisserie. I walked past, laughing and chatting with a neighbor as if he weren't there. He even managed to get my new number, calling late at night, voice hoarse with longing. I let him speak until the end, then handed the phone to a male friend, who replied in heavily accented French. "Leave her alone. Do not bother her again." Silence followed. Then a text from home. "He's engaged. A business alliance. You may congratulate me. He's finally out of your life." Andre, who had seen it, apologized politely. "Was that the man you needed a night for? He's finally behind you." I calmly tucked my phone away.
"Yes."
The dust has settled. I learned his fiancée was from the Lin family, a powerful, notoriously spoiled woman. She unearthed Nolan's past with Hannah, exaggerating details, spreading rumors across Hannah's tiny hometown. In a small town, gossip travels fast. "Did you hear? She was a rich man's mistress, and the wife found out. She looks innocent, who would have guessed? No wonder her mother's ill, worried sick over her." Hannah's attempts to clarify were futile. Power and money overruled truth. Her mother's frailty could not withstand it. One evening, as rumors reached a peak, she collapsed in the living room. Outside the hospital, Hannah wept, nearly fainting. With trembling hands, she dialed Nolan's number one last time. The line rang long before a haughty female voice answered. "Looking for Nolan? Sorry, he's busy. Irrelevant people aren't allowed." By the time Nolan learned the truth, Hannah's mother was out of immediate danger, though her health remained precarious. She couldn't withstand another shock. Nolan leveraged his influence to suppress the rumors circulating in her hometown and transferred a substantial sum to Hannah. His final message to her was brief and unambiguous. "Disappear. She's not like Claire. She will destroy you." He knew. He understood my boundaries. My earlier restraint hadn't been weakness. It had been decency, a decency he no longer deserved. He had already chosen to protect Hannah. There was no point in digging deeper. I never replied to his lengthy email explaining his predicament, his wife's constant pressure, and his remorse. I deleted it. He had built his own prison. No one else was to blame. Occasionally, I'd see him in financial news articles, still the poised, distinguished Mr. Pierce. But behind the gold-rimmed glasses, the warmth and light were gone, replaced by a hollow emptiness. In France, I had no shortage of admirers. The charm of a Frenchman, the precision of a German colleague, the thoughtfulness of a Chinese-French executive, yet I valued my independence above all. Love was no longer a necessity. At a celebratory banquet, amid clinking glasses and laughter, I stepped out onto the balcony for a breath of fresh air. Shadows stretched across the garden below, and there he stood, familiar and unwelcome. He had spotted me as well, but remained frozen in place. I called a waiter over with mild annoyance. "There's a gentleman downstairs who seems lost and distressed. Could security assist him in finding the proper exit?" The waiter nodded and left. I turned away, uninterested in the unfolding scene. Andre appeared beside me, offering a fresh glass of champagne. Is everything all right? He asked gently, his blue eyes reflecting the ballroom lights. Never better, I replied, clinking my glass against his. He smiled knowingly and let the subject drop, redirecting the conversation toward a lavender field in Provence we were scheduled to visit. His charm and attentiveness were subtle, respectful, and utterly comforting. I smiled, taking it all in. Meanwhile, Nolan was intercepted by several imposing security guards. His arms were twisted behind him, his body slammed face-first into the manicured lawn. His glasses flew off, one lens cracked. Dirt and grass filled his mouth. Every strike sent jolts of pain through him. But the physical torment paled in comparison to what he saw above. I stood on the balcony, elegant and radiant, chatting quietly with a foreign man, their heads bent close together. He could barely comprehend the scene. She was completely indifferent to me. Or so he thought. His thoughts spun. Did the apartment video mean she knew everything? Yes. He had been at Hannah's apartment. More than once. The worst night, when he drunk too much, had ended with Hannah's sobs and her clinging arms. Did those nights mean nothing to you? She had cried. Don't you miss them at all? He had closed his eyes, letting himself fall. Just once, just that last time. He had been about to marry me. He believed he'd lost nothing. Arrogant, calculating, so sure the world would obey his rules. A soft flick sound broke through his memories. The French man had lit a cigarette for me. I tilted my head toward the flame, indifferent, my profile cold and hazy in the smoke. I did not look at him again. It wasn't that I was ignoring him. It was that I no longer saw him at all. The guards tightened their hold, grinding the grass and dirt into him. Then, unexpectedly, he laughed. Wild, uncontrolled, tears streaming from his eyes. A guard, leaning close, understood some of his words. Payback. Claire, this is my payback. The tables had turned. I stood tall above him, free, untouchable.